Page 11, what we're going to do here is some higher order derivatives. What that means is that I want to find the first derivative, the second derivative, and the third derivative of this long expression. And we're just going to get started. The first thing I'd like to do is rewrite this with a negative exponent because I don't want to have to do quotient rule. As we did before, it's a little complicated. So I'm going to rewrite that as just x to the negative second. And now I'm going to take the first derivative of that. So the first derivative is not too complicated. That's going to equal 20. X to the third, don't forget you minus 1. 2 times 3, that's 6x. And after I subtract 1, that's x to the first, but I don't have to write anything. And then this is just going to be plus 2. And then negative 2 times the 1 hidden out front is going to give me negative 2x. Subtract 1 to the negative third. Now I'm going to find the second derivative. And the second derivative, you just continue. 3 times 20, that's 60x squared. Plus the derivative of 6x is just 6. The derivative of 2, that cancels out, is just 0. Now the derivative over here is going to be negative 3 times negative 2. That's plus 6. X minus 1 to the negative fourth. And the third derivative. And that's going to give me 120, because 2 times 60 is 120. X, when I subtract 1 to the first, that goes away to nothing. And then I'm going to find this derivative, negative 24, because negative 4 times 6. X to the negative fifth. Now sometimes they might ask you to rewrite that as a positive exponent, so it would be 120x minus 24 over x to the fifth. And that would give me my third higher order derivative. Another higher order derivative, but this time I'm going to have to use the product rule. Okay, so I'm going to split that down the middle and call this first part u and the second part v. So that gives me u equals x cubed, v equals e to the x. We should start to like e to the x. The derivative of u is 3x squared. The derivative of e to the x, once again, is just e to the x. So the first derivative is going to give me u dv plus v du. U dv, that's x cubed, e to the x, plus v du. E to the x times 3x squared. Now I have to find the derivative of this. Hey, I'm going to have to use product rule again. But notice, the product rule of x cubed e to the x is already here. So half the work is done. So the second derivative is going to be this whole thing plus the derivative of the second part. X cubed e to the x plus e to the x times 3x squared. And now I'm going to split this down the middle and call that u and v. So u equals e to the x, v equals 3x squared, du equals e to the x, dv equals 6x. Now, udv plus v du, udv is going to give me 6x e to the x, vdu is going to give me plus 3x squared e to the x. Now I have to add that to that, so this is starting to take up a little bit of space. So y double prime actually equals x cubed times e to the x plus e to the x times 3x squared plus 6x e to the x, 6x e to the x plus 3x squared e to the x. Oh my goodness. I have to find the third derivative now of this monster. And you can see where calculus isn't that tough. It's just a lot of algebra. Well, I know that the derivative of this is already up there. The derivative of this is this entire thing. And then I have to find the derivative of this and the derivative of this. Let's see if I already have that anywhere. 3x squared e to the x, I do. So this is just going to be a lot of combining and expanding. I'm going to need another piece of paper. The derivative of that, using the product rule, is the same as the derivative of that. So I want to have x cubed e to the x plus e to the x times 3x squared. So that one's done. Now I'm going to find the derivative of the second term, which is the derivative of this second term, which I added over here. And that was this. So that's going to give me plus 6x e to the x plus 3x squared e to the x. Now I have to find the derivative of this. And I'm just going to do a little side work. U equals 6x, v equals e to the x, du equals 6, dv equals e to the x. udv plus v du. I'm just going to add it over here and hope I fit it. is going to give me 6x e to the x. 6x e to the x plus e to the x times 6, or 6 e to the x. Now, finally, I'm working towards the end here. I have to find the derivative of this, which I believe is the same as that derivative. So that's the red derivative. I can't fit it in one space, so I'm going to put a plus sign. And I'm going to add another plus sign, so I know I'm bringing it over here. And that derivative there was 6x e to the x plus 3x squared e to the x. And that's my third derivative. And you didn't think it was going to be that difficult, but it was a tough one.